It's always about doing the best with what you've got. So I had a client recently ask me for some 12 gauge copper speaker wire, and I'm like, nope, don't have any. And we don't know when the next shipment's going to come in. And of course, they don't want to buy it from Sky High or even Home Depot or anything like that because it's fucking expensive. But what we do have is a lot of 16 gauge. This is perfectly good copper, but it's not as big as they want. So even though I tell them, you know, your run is only 6 foot, 16 gauge copper is fine, they don't believe me. They think they're going to melt some wire. And I'm like, all right. So I used to think the same thing. And so I used to go through the same processes. And one of the things that I came up with was from Ted at Speakerworks over here in Phoenix. He showed me something that looks visually appealing and it also satisfies that, for lack of a better word, craving or OCD that I need, you know, huge speaker wire, even though I'm going to go 6 to 10 feet. So hang on real quick. So honestly, you really only need to, if you feel like you want to get more beef or whatever. Sometimes we back in, this is the 90s, we used to make a run from each coil. Like if it was like a single woofer that it had 2 coils, and we would run a run of 16 gauge to each coil. And then that way you end up doubling it up. And that's really all you need to do. But again, this is overkill, but it looks visually appealing and it's kind of nice. So what we're going to do is take 3 of these, 3 16 gauge, 30 feet, and then we're basically going to do I don't think it's called a French braid. I think it's just an overhand or an underhand braid. I like to go underhand just because if you go overhand, right here, the saddle joint and all these muscles right here end up getting really tired and really fatigued really quick. So if you do an underhand braid, it sort of helps your hands. You'll find out really quick when you get it about 3 or 4 feet. You're like, fuck, this is hard. Yeah. You just kind of just take your time and go with it. But again, this is to satisfy your OCD. Another way to satisfy your OCD, lower your expectations. Right? So how do you get out of a bad situation? Avoid the bad situation. That's my advice. But here we go. As you can see here, all I've done is use a table vise and secured all 3 runs. I even went through the extra step of making sure that positive is on the left to satisfy that OCD. Now remember, I still have my OCDs. I still have the thoughts. I just don't let them make decisions for me, right? And we all have, you know, like our inner child, you know, that wants to just hold hands with everybody and snuggle. And sometimes you got to tell that little guy to shut the fuck up. You know, it's time to either beat someone or kill something. So in this case, I'm just telling my OCDs to chill the fuck out, but I'm going to go ahead and satisfy them anyway because I know I'm going to get requests on the video. And I sometimes like to please you guys, if you can believe that or not. I don't always like to be a hard ass and just punish you guys and tell you guys to quit suffering and shut the fuck up. So, but I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of braids just to show you. So if you notice, I've done the underhand braids. So, and I'm keeping them all flat. And then what's going to happen is your bottom part is going to tangle. And so after a couple of passes, after a couple of turns, you're going to have to take one lead and then pull it out through the bundle so that it gets straightened again. So, and you're going to have to repeat this process over and over again. So basically just repeat that and keep going until your fingers get tired. Now the braids don't have to be super tight. Again, this is just mostly cosmetic. I recommend not a loose braid, but also not a super tight braid, meaning that the repetitions don't have to be really close together. Mostly because what I see a lot of guys do is they do a really tight repetition real close at the beginning of the project, and then at the end they're like, fuck it, because their hands are really tired. So, but again, this is going to look really cool in the end. This is what we did for Pat, his Gonzo Mini Cooper, which I'm going to try to find a video and upload it again since we lost that on Instagram. And you guys will look like that. It's timeless. So you guys will go, hey, this was a new video. This fucking old video. But it's awesome, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, but I just wanted to pass that on today. I have a bunch of videos in the cache that I need to go through and process, but I also need to process a lot of orders. So I have to do a little bit of each today. But I love you guys. I'm thinking about you. I will talk to you later.